Okay, next I'd like to introduce Dr. Monica Bolbjerg. She's the co-founder of Qure4 in Denmark, which she founded in 2001. She's since then built it into a leading international digital health company with clients in Europe, US, and South America. More than 2 million users and thousands of providers are using the Qure4 platform to interact, share data, and improve health. Her big passion is to launch user-friendly solutions for providers as well as patients that enhance preventative care, engage and involve patients in their own health, as well as giving the providers tools to manage health populations more efficiently. Monica graduated from the University of Copenhagen as a certified doctor of medicine. She has served as a general practitioner in both Denmark and Norway and has done research on the largest in the largest university hospital in Denmark. Today, Monica is based in the US, where she is the CEO of Qure4 Inc. Here today to share with us tools to enhance our relationships with our healthcare professionals and international champion of doctor-patient communication, Dr. Monica Bolbjerg.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much for having me. So I graduated as a young doctor. I got really frustrated. I met a lot of patients out there that had no clue about what they needed to do at home. We as doctors had to kind of say the same things again and again, and it was just this battle of how do we better interact, because as you know, you're at home 99% of the time, you're not at the doctor's office. So I said, well, we got to make some tools that makes it easier for doctors to interact with patients, try to eliminate all that paper, and I mean, we get a lot of instructions we hand out to our patients about what we need to do at home, and it's not always easy to remember or to follow, and then if you have questions, it's very difficult to get back in touch with your doctor. So we built an app, a platform that the providers are giving to the patients, so now the patient will know what to do at home. At the same time, the doctor gets a lot of data about you, what's happening when you're at home, which gives them better tools to actually find out how to help you and how to make your treatment more personalized. So, I brought a video, but I have no sound, so I'm just going to start talking a little bit more about how this actually works. Can you hear me?
They will in a minute.
Yes.
All right. So, how this works is that our solution is completely integrated with the doctor's medical record system, which is super important because what's happening out in the world right now is there's 150,000 or 250,000, I don't even know how many health apps that are out there. But you can go and use 10 of them, but when you go down to your doctor, he won't have time to look at it. So we have to build a system where you can use all your data at home, and it goes into a system that now the doctor can work with. Otherwise you cannot collaborate. The doctor simply doesn't have time to go and look at all the different tools that are out there. So how it works is that the moment you get an appointment with a doctor, that will then initiate an invitation for you to download an app. And that app will be populated and tailored to you and where you are right now. So if it's a first-time visit to a doctor, there will be practical stuff, like the paper forms you fill out today, all the things that need to be signed, co-pays and all that. All that can be done by yourself at home. Then, after a visit, and you go and now there's some kind of treatment is set up, the app will now change instructions on you. It will send instructions, tasks, what you need to do at home. If you're scheduled for surgery, it will tell you scheduled time. Well, now you need to buy supplies, or prepare right home, or stop taking blood thinners, all those practical stuff. But right at the time when you need to know and do it. At the same time, it's logging what the patients are doing at home. So giving feedback to the care team about if you're following your care plan, if you're ready for a next appointment. If there's some time that kind of monitoring needs to happen, so it could be after a procedure, but it could also be that you have a chronic condition or a more like complex condition like Alzheimer or any kind of neurology disease where there's a lot of data that needs to be captured about how you're doing at home. I know you've talked about sleep today, nutrition, activity. So any kind of vital can be monitored today. It can be temperature, pain, oxygen level, sleep, nutrition, you mentioned it. And there's a ton of different devices out there that can be connected through your phone. And all you have to do is step on the scale and that data will flow to your doctor, or put on the cuff for your blood pressure device and that data also flows to the doctor. And I'll get back to that a little bit later. At the same time, when it goes into, later you go into more like a rehab phase, we call it. So it's kind of like, well, you're now at a stage where we as doctors say, well, we need now to phase you out, you're fine, but we still want you to do some things at home. So that could be after surgery, it could be certain exercises you need to do. If for brain, it could be brain exercises. It can actually be videos, so exercises for the eyes, looking at videos at certain times. So it's about giving easy access to those tools for the patients and a time when it needs to happen. So it helps you remember when you need to do the different things that the doctor told you to do. So altogether, this gives kind of like an app that will kind of follow you through your journey of care. It will give data to the doctors so that they better know what to do with you. I'm sorry, my English. But it will tell them more about you, which means that they'll know more about how to help you, and they'll know it much quicker than it will be in the usual way. And this has proven to give better outcome, and it also gives a better experience for you as patients, and because now you can work with the doctor in a much better way, interact with the doctor or the care team, drives a much better outcome. I'm going to show a quick few slides, screenshots about how it works. So if you're in the first phase where you're kind of like a new patient, it's all that practical stuff, as I said before. I mean, so for instance, I'll give you an example. Today, if you go into a new doctor, they'll pull out all your medications from the pharmacies, and they'll get a list of the medications you've received for the last 3 years, right? So what they now want you to know, or do when you come down to the doctor's office, just say, well, I don't take this, I don't take that. But that can be difficult to remember. So instead what we do now is that you as a patient can take an iPad or phone, you go into your bathroom, you can look at what you take and just tick off. That flows right into the doctor's office, into their medical record system. So it saves time for you, it's convenient, you can do it at home, but it also saves a ton of time for the doctors when you show up. So think of this as a little bit like checking in for your flight. You do your stuff at home, and you go down to the doctor's office, you show your phone, boom, I'm ready for boarding. You're pre-approved for boarding, whatever it's called.
First class.
Yes, first class. Then it's about getting help for procedures. So as you can see on the screen, it's like today I have 4 things I need to do. But it also includes more instructions about what that's specific, what does that mean? What does it mean to start fasting, and what time do I need to start fasting? And does that include can I drink water? No, you cannot drink water. So all these things that we have as questions, as we as medical professionals, is so simple, right? But it's not so simple if you haven't tried it before. It's about monitoring after appointments, so kind of what's your pain level, how did you sleep last night, what's your mood like, any kind of data that makes sense for your relationship with your current doctor right now. Any kind of vitals that are monitored through devices are shown to the physician in a nice graph view, which makes it super easy for them to review and post it into to your chart in the medical record. And this matters because if you come down and you show a phone or a piece of paper, every time the doctor looks at paper or anything that is handed over by a patient, it looks differently. So it's just so much easier and faster for a doctor to look at the same thing. And if they get it on paper, they're not going to need to type it into the medical record system or scan it in. And with us, they just click a button. And so this is where it's going, right? It needs to just flow. Data needs to flow from you to the doctor and back again. Video is a big thing. This is really up and coming. Fortunately, not so much here in Florida, but most other states are now reimbursing doctors the same way as if you were in the office in person for a visit. So if there's small issues that needs to be reviewed, it can be done with a video call, and it's easier and faster for both doctors and patients. So we started doing this, building all this out, all these nice integration, capturing all that ton of data from the patients and saying, hey docs, this is really nice, right? There's no way they can look at it, right? I mean, for you, this is super interesting, right? My blood pressure or my weight, I mean, look how it's going. For the doctor, all that data is not interesting. The data that's interesting for the doctors is kind of like either trends or right now something is going out of range. So if your blood pressure starts to go up and it seems like it's going in the wrong, right there right now it seems to be critical, this is where the care team now needs to know about what's going on. And why is this important? Because if you stop taking your medication because you feel like, I'm great, I really don't want to take this medication anymore, my blood pressure is fine, you might not even know that it's going into that area now where it starts to be actually critical. And if we don't know that as doctors and care team, and we don't get in touch with you and find out, well, what's going on? Well, I'll stop taking my medication. Well, you cannot do that because if you go up to that very high level, it's really difficult to get you down again. So this makes it's much faster to help and find out when anybody needs help without having you to come into the office all the time. Oops. Want to go to the next one?
Wow, that sure jumped around.
It's fine.
How far
one more back.
Oh.
Can you get in one more back? One slide. No? That's fine. We can just stay here. So why hasn't this happened before? Well, before the doctors did not get paid to do any of this stuff. So this is a big thing. So sorry to say this, but doctors, we do want to get paid. We have to. And we're really interested in you getting better and feeling better. But if we don't get money for the time we spend on taking care of you, it's difficult. So there's a lot of new payment models coming out right now, which is supporting that doctors are interacting with patients when they're outside of the office. For if you have chronic conditions, 2 chronic conditions, the doctors can get paid for giving you care plans and help you with that. If you monitor vitals at home, the doctor can get paid for it. And video as well is kind of coming up. And then again, they also now what's happening is that the doctors are getting paid more if they can prove that they're getting better quality of care. And in order to get better outcome, they need you to do your part of the job. So that's all kind of supporting this trend now that is going from us doctors to being the one just telling you what to do to us being coaches. You come to us, we'll see what you have, we'll look at the data, we have the big data thing, and now we'll coach you on how to manage your health at home going in the right direction. That was it.
All right. So it's amazing what technology can do even to help us enhance our relationships with our physician care team. And so we appreciate the work that you've done on this, and not just here in the States, but also kind of on that international level. As I mentioned